Welcome to another News Game Plus. I'm Grizzly Adams, and I'm here with the giant bear, New Game Plus executive producer Jason Akeley. How
Uh,
are you doing?
yeah, I'm all right. I did actually see a clip the other day. It was like another one. It was like a guy forgot to lock his car, and he was like he's Canadian or something, and there's like a grizzly bear in the back seat. So they basically had to jury rig a system where they put a rope around the door handle, pulled it open, and just like the bear just come flying out. And they're like, "Holy crap!" It's like, yeah,
Mm.
it's
Yeah,
still it's still a grizzly bear.
I like the meme that says, "I don't always kill things, but when I do, it's because they're things,
Yeah,
and I'm a bear."
yeah.
I was going to put you on it. So,
Well, look, we're a peaceful nation here now. That's what I'm talking about.
yes, peaceful day. So, yeah, I'll start this week with what have you been playing?
Um, so so I finished the Banishers the other week, like I mentioned, and that was a good game. Don't believe the hype. It's not as DEI and all that bullshit as people like
The
to say.
DI. Well, you're not allowed
No,
DIs
hey,
in
you're not allowed to have
America.
DEI now. You're gonna
Not
get
that
arrested.
you got
Donald Trump's gonna
you're
send the
not even allowed
fucking
to
cops.
secretly do it.
Yeah, Donald Trump's gonna
Yeah.
send the fucking cops. But no,
Uh,
no.
I did not see that coming.
Dude, what are you fucking
I was
monk?
waiting to
Yeah,
do that one.
yeah. So was Elon. Don't worry. And so, yeah. Basically, I've been playing a game called Star Trucker. Have you played Star Trucker?
Star Truckman, Krusty, and
Knew that was where your brain would go because you're of a certain age. For what it's worth,
actually, I think it's
you
called
and Matty Goodwin was boasting that
yeah,
song.
maybe you know, I think it's called Elite Dangerous.
Close,
Yeah,
close.
except they've added all that stupid Thargoid nonsense. But when it was just Star Trucker, it was a
It is
fantastic game.
that I think that in itself is worth a podcast at some point, and how you fell off Elite Dangerous because you were the biggest stooge for Elite Dangerous for the longest time,
Yeah.
and then they added the new stuff, and you were just like, "Fucking time to pull the parachute,
Oh,
boys!
that's not bad.
Pull the
It's
ripcord."
just they didn't probably saw No Man's Sky and other stuff, and they
Yeah,
just forgot what the game was.
yeah, yeah,
It
yeah,
was a beautiful space sim, like a one-to-one representation of what we know the galaxy is, right?
yeah.
So if you went to a solar system, as far as they knew scientifically that, and you could actually like discover stuff. I discovered a few stars and planets when I was
Mm,
going around. They name them after you,
yeah, nice.
after your character. So because only a couple of percent of the whole galaxy's been discovered so far because
Yeah,
it's so
yeah.
freaking big. So and it was just a game where you just had to like properly manage a spaceship, probably set
Mm,
it up, probably upgrade it, and then you could go out and you could do combat. You could get space pirates and stuff like that. But then they had to turn it into this Star Wars style nonsense with
mm.
these Thargoids that are attacking the human race and all that. And it lost its charm. It forgot what it was.
You prefer the aliens to attack to just be blue slime?
I'd almost be see two of the best science fiction.
That's an expanse joke for
Yeah,
anyone
yeah.
listening.
Two of the best science fictions are Expanse with the proto molecule and Battlestar Galactica, and
Yeah.
neither of them. Well, Expanse kind of implies it, but neither of them actually have aliens.
No, and I think what they both do is they capture the vulnerability of humans. Like it's still just monkeys sitting in space, and that's the one thing that Battlestar Galactica especially does a good job of. It's like we are the last humans. Like these 200 people are
Yeah.
the last humans. That's it. There's no more humans. The Cylons got the rest of them.
Mm.
There's no more, and they very rarely did that. They knew there was like say two or three more ships out there, or they'd heard rumors, and they very rarely relied on the trope of, oh, we found another group of them, and like,
Edward James Olmos, who played Adama in the Ron Moore Battlestar
yeah,
Galactica series, he actually said the moment that any like person turns up on the bridge with a prosthetic sort of forehead trying to look
yeah,
like an alien, he said, "I'm off the show. I'm not even going
yeah,
to
yeah.
stay." But yeah, it does sort of because I mean my personal view is that we may be the accident, and it's probably is for another podcast. We may be the accident.
Well, I'll
So
keep in mind I'm literally at the end of season 2 for
expanse.
Expanse.
Yeah.
So
So where's is Miller? Is Miller spending the rest of his life with Julie Mao yet?
yes, yes, yeah. That would that's my look.
Anyone that hasn't watched it, that's
We,
not a
we
spoiler.
started talking about Star Trek, but we're gonna have to cover this quickly. I feel I, anyone but Thomas Jane and the ability for Thomas Jane to act. If anyone had suddenly got this weird attachment to this girl he's never met, you would go, "The fuck is this?"
In
But Miller committed to the bit, and as a result, it doesn't feel as hackneyed as it could.
he's a good actor.
Yeah.
In the books, he was completely infatuated in love with it, and it came across a bit in the show. But in the books, apparently, it was like way, way, way more than that. Where he
Mm.
was just absolutely in love with this person he'd only ever seen on videos and a photo.
Yeah,
Um,
and I think if you're going to do that, you need someone to be a bit more desperate. And they didn't really let that land as well as they should. Do you know what I mean?
He
Like
played
that.
he played a good character
Yeah,
though.
he did.
He,
Yeah.
he really did nail the character. Yeah. So look, it's the end of season two. The first three seasons are some of the best sci-fi. In season three, they rushed through a lot. So there's
Yeah.
kind of season three is two parts.
Well, I think two rushes through a fair bit. Like
Yeah.
they, yeah,
Well, Sci-Fi Network were only doing that, but then when Amazon picked it up, it became meandering, like
yeah.
all streaming shows. It's not bad, but it's
It's
nothing like the
second
first three.
screen material, as they call it.
Yeah, and you can tell that Holden and Amy were like producers on the Amazon one
Yeah,
because it
yeah.
really focused on them. And you get a lot of Naomi crying in spaceships, and
Uh,
so yeah, you got Space Mary Sue and Space Jesus, and they're
Yeah,
the two worst tropes.
she is less tedious than him, but fuck, he annoys me. Like,
Oh,
holy God.
he's everything everyone complains about as a male trope in a
Yeah,
show. That's
yeah.
Holden.
He's the
Um,
worst. He's that hipster form of Kirk, where it's all that same bullshit, toxic masculinity hidden under it all. But at least but he doesn't have the guts to just be outright with it. Whereas at least with, with Shatner's, Kirk, he was like, well, I want to fuck the alien lady. You know what I mean? Like,
also Kirk is a product of the time.
yes,
Was he was they were shaking things up a little
yeah.
bit with that.
Um, but
Yeah.
to go back to Star Trucker,
You
so
hear
just
me talk about Expanse all
yeah,
day.
yeah.
Anybody that has not seen Expanse, please watch it. It is so good. But yeah,
Star Trucker is one of those kind of sim games almost, like you see, like Euro Truck Simulator and all that kind of stuff, where you got to stop for fuel and you got to service your truck and blah, blah, blah. It's that, but you're doing long haul missions in space, and my biggest complaint about it is it doesn't really land the long haul bit. Like the longest hauls you'll do, you're still going through. Like I mean, the longest haul you'll do is about 20 minutes of a drive, right?
okay. Yeah, well, in Elite Dangerous, you go to Hutton Orbital.
Yeah.
The famous one everyone talks about. You get a free anaconda. It's not true, by the way, but and that's over an hour
Yeah.
in game, in actual game, like real
Well,
life time.
Elite Dangerous do they do warp stuff? Do they do warp drives or anything
They
like that?
do. They do like this thing where you can go to gravity. I think. Look, I might be wrong. It's
Like Mass
gravity
Effect.
gravity wells, but they're stars, so you can only
Yeah.
go star to star. And then once you get to a star and you go out through that star's solar system, you have to then go in like a super cruise mode. But
Like an
it's not.
impulse speed, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's not light speed. It's fast, but it's not light speed. So if you've got a station or a planet you need to go to that's a long way away from the star, it can be like an hour and a half, 2 hours of
Yeah.
just sitting there just waiting day. Now in VR in Elite Dangerous, it is a beautiful game to sit and watch because you got stuff flying past. You're looking at all the planets as you fly past them and that, and it sounds really lame, but because it's also a one-to-one mapping of what as
The
far as
known universe, yeah.
yeah, well, galaxy because we can't get to the galaxy.
True,
People
true.
have tried, you just can't, right? Because the galaxies are too far apart. But it's and you can't even go up above and below too far. But anyway, that's another story. But yeah, it's actually kind of interesting because that it'd be like if you were playing Euro Truck Simulator, but it wasn't actually Europe. They weren't the cities. It feels
Hmm.
better if it's something that you know is real. It's a weird thing.
So with this game, right, you've got you have multiple things you have to factor. Hull integrity for oxygen, so you have an
Yep.
oxygen pump. You have a gravity compensator which can go offline, so that has like both a power cell and like a computer chip that controls it.
Yep.
You have a suit to do EVA, so to go outside. You have shock absorbers to handle electrical storms and stuff like that.
Hmm.
And all these things need to be replaced. Plus, you need to balance the budget of your truck. You need to drive it correctly. You need to like maintain your truck properly. So you need to like have fuel. You need to have power for everything. And some days you'll be stranded in the middle of fuck. It reminds you of watching like Outback Truckers. Like the show they
Yeah.
make here. You'll be stuck out in the middle of arse end of nowhere, and you'll go like, well, what can I sacrifice to get out? Like the amount of times I've had to turn off gravity and hope that the stuff I have in my cabin doesn't break because I'm just like,
Yeah.
I need to steal that power cell, otherwise I have no
I
option.
sound like I'd enjoy that.
I think
Yeah.
the reason I flag it is because I think you would. Like, I think the
Yeah.
tediousness of it is something you would actually get into, and then
Tedious. I'm old. I just
yeah,
like
yeah,
relaxing
yeah.
in my spaceship.
And then dealing with like the corporate contracts and
Yeah.
all that kind of stuff, and people drive like maniacs, and then yeah, the main thing you're gonna have to deal with is debris fields and stuff like that. Like there's certain
Yeah.
like roadways, if you will, and you can skip them, but the problem is yeah, one or two decent hull impacts. I think, and then if you park in the wrong spot, like I've had this happen where I'm parked fixing something on the outside or doing a salvage run, and I get hit by a truck. And so I had that happen to me the other day, and in what would be,
Mm.
I want to say realistic, because we're talking about being an intergalactic trucker, but what would be a decent representation of the physics. it was moving, and it was moving at the same speed, at a certain speed, and then it got hit, and so it was faster than I was moving. So I can never catch it. It's always because nothing is going to stop it unless it hits something.
Oh yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
So
That's space. Yeah.
so I was basically dead. There was nothing I could do because my oxygen was about half full, so I had
Yep.
probably another minute and a half of oxygen left. I had no power, and so it was just one of those things where I'm like, this is how I die. Literally, the truck just spins off into space, like tumbles off into space, and as I just watch it go because I cannot catch it. It is
Like
going too
a
fast.
belter loader.
Right,
Yeah.
and that's the reason I bring it up is because it just happened to
Yeah.
be the time when I've been watching The Expanse, and then I'm watching like this sci-fi grounded in reality. Like I say, it's on Game Ass if you've still got Game Ass.
Yeah, cool.
Pick it up and give it a play.
Space Trekker.
Star Trucker,
Star Trekker. Oh, see, I've already lost
yeah,
it.
Space Trucker is
Space
the like the
Trekker.
yeah, because yeah, I
Yeah.
know, yeah. You know, Star Trucker's been good, and then the other one I've been playing, and this is gonna last a bit, is Balloons TD.
Ah, well,
The first time I've ever played it, right?
did you have your ninth birthday?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And because it's on Apple Arcade on my phone, and so I've been playing Balatro because I've been on planes lately. I've been on Balatro and I've been on Balloons TD because I can just turn them on while there's because they work without Wi-Fi.
Actually, I spent all that money on the Steam Deck and all the trouble to get
It
Steam
plays
Deck, and
Balloons TD.
that's my son
Yeah,
plays a lot of that
yeah,
on the Steam Deck. You can play it on your phone, you clown.
yeah.
Nah, it's biggest
Not
bigger
autistic,
screen.
not autistic by the way.
Hey, yeah, just on the space stuff.
Just on the autism, yeah,
No, no. I remember how you got trapped in space. There's a
yeah.
group of people in Play Elite Dangerous called the Fuel Rats, and if you go to a website and say where you are, they'll actually come in the game and bring fuel for you and rescue you.
Wow.
So it's actually like a little thing that people just organise. Anyway, that's a
Because they were doing that with like even stuff. Remember they didn't they take over some ship and destroy it, and it had so much in-game currency that it was like
crash the economy
yeah,
of
it
it.
crashed the economy. Yeah, it was like a whole
Yeah,
thing.
I never got into that. I made a
Eve
game.
Online was way more spreadsheety. Elite Dangerous to me was always the actual physical representation of what Eve Online had the promise
Yeah,
to be.
yeah. I think if you're going to do that, you'd have to be a gun at logistics. But anyway,
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's Star Tracker is it's in
yeah.
personal logistics. You know what I mean? Like
And
yeah.
Bloons TD.
But
So
and Balloons TD, the two, and Balatro. I'm playing a lot of
and
Balatro.
Balatro, yeah. Actually, I got to try Balatro.
Yeah,
The
Balatro.
footstep.
Balatro is good. It's a mass game
I'm
though.
old enough. I'm
Yeah,
allowed to. I'm over 18. But
yeah, yeah, yeah,
there's
yeah.
one other game that had some.
I
Oh,
just
we'll
unlocked
get to it later.
I just unlocked a really broken Joker, and so there was this deck that was giving me struggles, and I unlocked this Joker, and it's just suddenly not a struggle anymore. It's like it was
Okay.
way too easy.
Oh, that happens a game. Eventually, you just level up to a point
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
where does that make sense?
Well, I think it was also, I mean, because it's randomized. Yeah, sometimes you just get lucky, and I got lucky, and my brain just synced into the mode, and I just did it without even trying, without even touching the sides. So,
Cool. I've been playing a bit of Bats again on the Terraplane 3 cart on the Evercade.
nice.
And I tell you what, I love my shooters.
Yeah,
I never knew of Bats again. I think that's how you say it. Probably not because I butcher these
butts a
things.
gun.
Yeah, it's fantastic, and so is Truxton too. So grab that if anyone has an Evercade, grab the Terraplane 3 card. It's probably the best one since Steam 17.
I like that they're doing these. Like, I mean, we've mentioned their licensing deals and the compilations and stuff like that. And I think it's a good way to kind of remain somewhat relevant. Do you know what I mean? As
Yeah,
opposed
it
to
makes you different because otherwise you're competing with these 16,000 in
yeah,
one Chinese
yeah,
Android-based ones.
yeah,
Now there are some pretty good retro handhelds out there.
yeah.
There's some.
Galea's put me through the list of all that stuff. So
Yeah,
yeah,
well, he's got a
proper Mister.
yeah, he's got a proper mystery. He's also got the analog pocket.
Yeah,
He's got two of the most expensive and best ones.
yeah.
Um, but if you're gonna be in this sort of space, and the other thing that Evercade does or Blaze does is they'll add they have a lot of modern retro games. So
Mm.
games that have been made
Of the
recently.
style. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
but recently for because there's still a big community making games for the Nintendo and the Genesis and
And
that.
Dreamcast as well. Like
Yeah, Dreamcast. Yeah,
Dreamcast still gets shooters every year.
I've actually got a Rocket League copy for the Dream, nowhere near as advanced for
Yeah.
the Dreamcast. So, and apparently you can play it online. So I got to get a broadband adapter. But yeah, so they do a lot of that. So that's how you set yourself apart. Because otherwise, if you're just going to have somewhere you can download, 13,000
Yeah.
ROMs, it's like really it just comes down to how
We've
nice
got
the
some of those.
controls are.
We got one of those arcade units at it's like a
The
Pandora's
arcade
box.
stick.
So,
That's
yeah,
actually a really nice unit.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I've got a little just a little cheapo Pandora's boxy one, and I had to curate the list. There was like 1,300 games, and I went like, cool, I'm gonna pick out the good 100, and people can just pick from this good 100,
Yeah,
right?
see,
Like, yeah,
that is a problem when you got too many. See, I doctor my cards to put like all the shooters on the card
yeah,
playing
yeah,
card. So if I feel like some shooters, I'll just play like 10 of them just after
yeah,
until
yeah,
I get
yeah,
sick of them. I do like the idea of having some sort of collection because it keeps you in check. Because
yeah,
you load up Steam and you load up your 400 games and you go, I'm going to play a game. And then you start looking through and you go, I'd like to play that, I'd like to play it. And before you know it, you spent like half an hour and you
yeah.
haven't played a thing. So it's like, so there is that paralysis of choice. That's
Yeah,
what I
and
enjoy.
that's well, that was where I ended up on Star Trucker, right? Was I was just like, I need something that's not gonna give me too much story. Banishers was enough for now. Like that was a good 30, 40 hour game.
Hmm.
And then, like I just come off Mafia and I'm like, I don't want to go back to Death Stranding yet. I really want to save Death Stranding for when I got the time to give it. And so I was like, I just need something that's a bit of a palate cleanse, and I just picked that, and it was like, okay, and I just rolled the dice, and it turned out to be all right. So,
A game we got to get back into, well, Space Games, Pulsar.
okay,
We didn't play enough
yes.
Pulsar, I
Well,
believe.
now that it's up to, it's basically a launch release season now. Like he's
It's
one point, he's not 1.0 yet,
it's
but he's
probably
getting close.
massively improved, but
Yeah.
we really need to have a few more Pulsar
Well,
games.
that was fun when it was like the five of us being the different roles and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah. I was just sitting in engineering, trying to make sure it didn't overheat.
Yeah, yeah,
I blew us up once,
yeah, yeah.
but
That's true.
you got someone on guns and so on. Oh, look, that that's a really good. That'd be really good if it was like reskinned as a Star Trek game. That'd
Yeah,
really
yeah.
work.
Well, I mean, that was I think that was always their thing was like, and going to all the different worlds and understanding all the artifacts and all that kind
Mm,
of stuff was fun. I enjoyed that game, and I played Space Crew as well, really recently, and that was
mm.
good fun for what it was. But that was the same kind of idea of everyone's got their role on the ship and blah blah blah.
Can you walk around the ship in that? Because that's one of
No, no, no. That's just like a top-downy
the
management game.
the really disappointing part of Elite Dangerous is you can't walk around your ship.
Mm,
Because that would be really cool. You can look around it, but you can't
yeah.
walk around it. They added walking around space stations, which I thought was missing the point because the spaceships are the heroes of those
Yes. Yeah.
games. In Pulsar, you could walk around the ship.
Yes, you could.
In No Man's Sky, I think you could, but you had to build a whole heap of crap and it was very annoying.
Yeah, yeah,
Good
yeah,
game, but I didn't enjoy it as much. But yeah, walking around in a spaceship, that's got to be in every space game.
yeah, yeah.
Uh,
Well, all the good ones have it, so yeah.
do you want to talk about this Xbox showcase?
Yeah, let's do that
Since we
quickly. Yeah.
otherwise I'm going to get back on Xbox.
So you remember how Sony for years was the sad dad game people? So now Microsoft have become the like teenage girl coming of age people, but like not in a really condescending way. Like they've got the South of Midnight game looks fucking real good. There's that RPG that looks all right. I forget what its name is, like
Is it
something
develop?
something 33. I don't know.
Is it, obviously Microsoft has been they've been watching and waiting for the Switch to get kind of launched, right?
Yeah.
And so a lot of the game, or all the games they showed, they're coming out in the next 2 months.
Yes.
So they've been busy.
They're all coming out before the end of April. Like we're talking two and a bit weeks apart sometimes.
The Deep South one looked very interesting because
Yeah.
that has a lot of we've talked of regularly on this podcast about how
About the Little Mermaid thing.
yeah
Why it's annoying. Not because it's like, oh my god, it's just there's so many black stories you could tell. Why do you have to co-opt fucking Hans Christian Andersen shit?
yeah. So tell one with their culture and their
Yeah.
like law, and that looks like that game's doing it,
Well,
which looks interesting.
she's like a black girl caught up in the floods in South Deep South America, and Deep South US, I should say, and like her spirit guides a
Near the
giant.
Gulf of America.
Yeah,
Yeah.
her spirit guide's a giant catfish. So it's all these kind of like memes that come from and I say this with the respect it deserves, like African American and slave culture and all that kind of
Well,
stuff.
we could get
Yeah.
in saying that we could get it wrong because we are white Australians and we're a
Mm.
long way away from America. But this is our interpretation, and we're not trying
Well,
to we're not trying to be
yeah,
funny in any way.
there was that never was it Never Alone? I forget what it's saying, where it's like you play the Inuit girl and she got the fox spirit and the fox spirit guides her, and
Oh, yeah, yeah.
it's like Sonic and Tails but a little Inuit girl. And then like, there's been like indigenous games. I'm all for it, man.
I think it's a great idea.
I want to hear these. This is the thing I want to hear. I don't want you to go, oh, Batman. We got Batman, but he's a black fella. I'm like, yeah, but that's not the same thing, is it? Like, tell
Yeah,
your stories, man.
tell a news
And
story.
it
Yeah.
does. And the flip side of that, though, it doesn't just have to be misery porn. Like, not. This is the thing. You can get a little bit bogged down in. It's like any story. When you were old enough. You remember in the '90s, every movie that came out of Ireland was about how the Catholic Church was fucking touching up people, or the English were starving it. And that were the
Yeah,
only
Spins
two
of the Father and stuff
only
like
two
that.
kinds, and
Yeah,
Angela's Ashes. The only two
yeah.
kinds of Irish movie you could get. You couldn't get anything that was positive and uplifting. I mean, even have you watched Banshees of Inisherin?
No, no.
You're Irish. You'll get it. Like
Okay.
the fact that that didn't win the Oscar is that makes me mad because it is so as yeah, it's so quintessentially like Irish and that's another sad story, but it's just done so well. And like I enjoy folk tales telling their folklore, and that South of Midnight looks fucking sick. I'm really looking forward to it.
I mean, teaching my boy a bit about like Michael Collins and that.
Yeah, right. He's
He's
at
been
that
enjoying
age.
it.
Yeah,
He did
yeah,
love the bit with the 12 apostles, his
yeah, yeah,
gun snipers.
yeah, yeah.
So yeah. Anyway, that's where were we? Oh yes, okay. So the other games, another game shown was Doom.
Yes.
Doom,
Doom Dark Ages.
Dark Ages. It's a prequel to the last
Yeah.
Doom.
And he's
It,
got a Captain America shield and a sword
it
and
looks
so
good though. Look, the
yeah.
mechanic looks fantastic. The music they've outsourced to another place, so they didn't pay the composer in the
But then
last
pay
Doom.
Mick Gordon again, yeah.
Yeah,
So
so now they've
there's
just
no way him and Marty were ever going to work together again after the
yeah, so
last one.
they've
And that's a shame, but yeah, yeah.
music still sounds good. Now something about all the games they showed, they look pretty good. I got the
And
impression.
there was a two Ninja Gaidens as well.
Yeah, yep. So well, they started with the showcase, I think, with the Japanese games, and then they got onto
Yeah.
something like more European and American. The thing that struck me is they look a little bit, especially the European based ones, looked a little bit like really over budget indie
Mm.
games, and I don't mean
Yes.
that bad. But they had that sort of feel about them, and I think they were done really well. But they're all single player games.
Well, this is, and I said this to you before we started. This is the kind of the dual faces of
Hmm.
Unreal Engine. It's either asset dumps, garbage simulator games,
Yep.
or it's hey, here's this tool that indie studios can use that previously you would have had to have had this tremendous art team, you would have had to have had this tremendous whatever. But now you can put these games together in relatively decent measure, and it still looks good enough to compete on that level. And don't get me wrong, Unreal has always been like, if not cutting edge, one of the big engines of
Yep.
game development. But Unreal 5, just the way it scripts itself and all that kind of stuff, you can the kind of the flea market of ideas and assets that is Unreal means that part of your coding can go out to that kind of stuff. And so I don't know, people who actually have that creative spirit can utilize it correctly.
Is that Unreal owned by Sweeney
It's epic.
Epic? Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting because I was going to come to this later, but
I don't think Fortnite's made in Unreal, funnily enough.
well, see, Epic's 35% owned by Tencent.
Yes.
Well, that's got some interesting ramifications. Being a
Wukong was Unreal, I'm pretty sure.
yeah, yeah, but that's 35% owned by a Chinese company
Yeah.
that the US a little while ago designated as a effectively a terrorist
Mm.
organization, Tencent. It'd be interesting if that comes under any sort
Well,
of tariff restrictions.
yeah, and the funny part of that, I mean,
35% of every game.
most Japanese gaming companies now have a 5 to 10% 10-cent buy-in. Funnily enough, right? It's
Yeah,
like
they do. Yeah.
Sony's got a bigger one. Sony's is like 21% or something like that. I'm
I
pretty
didn't have
sure.
Sony written down. There was a story about Ubisoft then I was going to get to later with a bunch of
Well,
numbers. But yeah, I'll wait.
haven't they worked out some kind of strategic? They're
Yeah.
similar to the Sony Kodoko deal, where they work
Um,
out a strategic.
can
Yeah,
I quickly contrast Sony with the Xbox
yeah,
showcase?
you mate.
Okay. So now Sony recently has been, or they've been on a cancel spree. Now Sony was planning a few years ago to do like I think 10 or might be more
It was
live
6 to 10 game as a
live
service
live
gas
service
games. Yeah,
games are going to go, which is dumb because people don't have that much time.
yeah,
They've been on a cancel spree. So while we've seen what struck me with this Microsoft developer thingy showcase thing is all the games look good. They
yeah,
look very well advanced, and they were all very single player. They didn't
yeah,
look like they were live service games. I might be wrong, but they didn't look like it. I doubt Doom's live service, for example.
yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
meanwhile, over on the Sony side, they've cancelled live service versions of Last of Us, Twisted Metal, God of War, Spider Man, and a bunch of others.
The only one out of those that could potentially work as a live service game is Twisted Metal, because it's a car racing game that has weapons and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? So you could do seasons of that very easily, and because it was based on a tournament, Twisted Metal is a tournament. Like it's the Twisted Metal Championship. Like
Last of Us could as well, I reckon, in that
maybe,
world,
yeah.
but you'd have to get away from
I
Ellie
I
and
think
that.
you would have to, yeah, you would do a co-op game in that universe. I mean, what's that other one I played recently
With
that
Twisted Metal, I see what you're saying.
yeah, yeah,
Spider-Man not because you got one character. In
yeah.
God of War, you kind of got one character.
I mean, this goes to
Play
the
as someone else, you know you're
this
going to
goes to the
lose.
conversation around Avengers, right? Spider-Man 1 done correctly, playing as like non-Spider-Man heroes or like, Black Cat and all that kind of stuff could absolutely work. But yeah, I mean Gotham Knights showed you that they're just going to do lazy like armor grabs and stuff like that, and just make it not fun to play. And that's your problem. Is you used to have games like Brute Force and all these kind of things, like four-player games where everyone had different abilities and stuff, and people will still play those games, man. Like people will still go their way to play. You don't have to have a skill tree. Oh, like a specs sheet where everyone specs into roles. Like you can have people like this guy plays the tank. He's in brute force. Yeah, the lizard guy had like the damage buff and stuff like that. You can still
Yeah.
make those kind of games, but when it's a game as a service, it's just like, ugh.
That's a traditional character type, so it's interesting. Are we seeing the death of the live service bubble, which never existed?
Well, I
So,
never I never got my Days Gone 2, and then Ben just had their game as a service cancelled. So like it's like, well, what is Ben doing until 2027 now? Nothing, It's like, what the fuck?
so,
Where's my Days Gone 2?
so Days Gone look like a good game. I like that.
Yeah,
That's
it's
with
on PC.
that's
You
with
should give it a go.
the motorbike.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
it's on
that's
PC. You
an
should
interesting
play it.
idea.
It's really good.
So yeah, so Microsoft just bought out a bunch of what look like pretty good quality. They look like fun single
Yeah,
player games. While Sony's been cancelling live service, and let's go to the next one of this. I'm not saying Sony's dead, but I just think that when you see one company's clearly been working towards this Nintendo Switch announcement to
yeah.
have some ammunition to survive that, um,
And and,
and
and, and and
be
then
back in
you've
it.
got Satya and Bell out saying basically, oh, we'll bring him out to PC and PlayStation eventually. It's like you guys need to just shut the hell up. Like just shut the hell up. Like
Yeah, they're idiots.
you can tell that the coup's on for Spencer. I feel bad for him. He's gone now.
Well, there you go. Because I don't look. They could try and be a Sega, but honestly, as much as I love Sega and Sonic, they're just not what they used to
Yeah.
be. And Microsoft can do
I
that
mean,
easily.
Sonic's still making Sonic's movie franchise made what $1 billion, and
Yeah,
Sonic is still so Sonic is
good
still
movie.
so far their most popular series. It's not even close. Anything else they release is literally 15% of what Sonic games are. You know
Oh,
what I
they've
mean?
got a lot of good I remember doing a thing with I was
Mm.
on Old Game Plus. They've got a lot of franchises they're wasting, but yes.
Yeah,
But what they've done with the Sonic movie is they've regenerated. Because I was talking to a friend of mine, he's got two kids that are like 8 and 10,
yeah,
and they're all over Sonic now.
yeah.
So they've really done a good job.
Well, I feel like Sonic, and I can't believe I'm saying this about a Sonic game. I mean, but to be fair, their cartoons and comic books have always been pretty good, but
Yeah.
there's a certain level of artistic integrity, quote unquote, to the Sonic movies, whether you like them or not, compared to Mario, where Mario was just a really cynical, drab retelling
Yeah,
of,
I
yeah.
guess the Sonic movie I reckon was better as a Sonic movie than the
Absolutely,
Mario movie was as a Mario
absolutely,
movie.
yes,
And Chris Pratt didn't voice Sonic, so that was a good start.
yeah,
Because the guy that voices Mario is actually like still alive.
yeah.
It's no reason to
Well,
replace him.
he's not doing it in the games either now. Old mate
Oh, he could have done
Charles Martinet, so
it.
yeah.
Probably got something. Anyway,
For a friend of the show, Charles Martinet.
yeah, no, that was good. That
Shout
was
out,
good.
that's from all the
I,
commie
I,
bastards in Melbourne. Yeah.
I like to tell people about
Oh yeah,
that
you were
time.
there.
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
It was after one of the EB
It was
Expo.
EB Expo. Yeah, yeah,
Yes, and I think he followed one of the girls on the show.
yeah, yeah,
The
yeah,
drinks with you guys,
yeah.
and he was a delightful guy. It was just
And then he
some
followed us to ice cream the next day and accidentally broke into Mario voice, and all the kids in the room flung their heads around. It was
yeah.
hilarious.
It's one of those ones that don't meet your heroes,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and normally they are dickheads, but nah, seriously, he was a wonderful guy, just such a nice
Yeah,
person.
yeah, for sure.
And it's funny when he was talking to Kirsty, going, "Yeah, I'm with the princess."
Yeah, yeah.
It's like everybody just melts.
Because I saw him about a year later, right? And he was out for Armageddon or Supernova or one of them,
Mm.
and they'd rented this like bar to do interviews with everyone. So they had Bruce Boxleitner and all these like
Oh God, heavy.
yeah, right. And
Yeah.
so they had all these like heavy guests, and they were getting the media to go around and talk to them and blah blah blah. And then Charles Martinet says, "I'm like, oh hey man," he's like, "Oh hey, it's you guys." Well, he was so bored. He's just like,
Yeah.
"Hey, I'll do." He goes, "What are you guys doing for us?" Oh, nothing. We'll hang around for a bit. He's like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." He got drinks, and then he was like, "Do you want me to do some voices for you?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure, why not?" And so he did an interview. We didn't ask for him, but he did an interview with, and then he just did Parthenax and Luigi and Wario and did the whole cast and crew like, "You're listening to a new game of Blast," like
Yeah,
for the shits and giggles, right? Like,
yeah, he's a decent guy. I mean, Chris Pratt could be a nice guy too,
yeah.
but Charles Martinet's nicer.
He's a Schwarzenegger now.
Is
Yeah,
he? Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
He married Schwarzenegger's kid, didn't he?
I thought Schwarzenegger had sons. I
Mm,
mean, not,
yeah,
not there's
yeah,
anything
yeah,
wrong with
yeah,
that,
yeah.
but yeah, that's
So
what he did too.
he had sons and illegitimate sons.
You probably had
I need
plenty.
to,
Yeah.
yeah, I need to. There's a Family Guy bit that's, yeah. I need to find a maid now. I need to make a white-faced boy.
Oh dear.
The last I don't know if you watch Red Letter Media. It's the only movie podcast person that people I watch, and they
I do know because I've seen you watching before.
yeah.
So
So
yeah,
they've had this guy who does a lot of impressions and stuff. He's a voice actor. He's really good, and he does a lot of the impersonations for Family Guy. So whenever Family Guy has a voice that sounds like who it is, but it's not them, Morgan Freeman, blah blah. He's Morgan Freeman's phenomenal, but he's Schwarzenegger. Like Schwarzenegger, people go like, "Oh, get to the chopper,"
yeah,
and
you
they
get
like,
to it.
it's not really. I'm like,
Oh,
my Schwarzenegger's passable. He's phenomenal. He's like he gets some mannerisms there. It's like that's right. Like just the way he nails the speech, and it's like a part of impersonation is not just the how you sound; it's how you kind of say it. Again,
I
that
wish I could do that really well, but
that's
yeah,
the Shane Gillis line about Trump. Because all you do is the hand gestures, like move your hands out
yeah,
sideways, and then just come in and say, find the right like skip, say the peaks of sentences when they're not supposed to be, and then just say, people said something. And it's like, yeah, I walk into the room, wow, and I said to myself, wow, this room's so big. Like you've just got to like, like it's the mannerism as much as is the actual voice itself.
he does a good Trump,
He
and
does.
he's a funny man,
He is.
Gillis, and
Yeah, Shane Gillis, Dan Soda.
Trump's a funny man too.
Uh, I mean, that was one of his comedy specials. I mean, this was before, obviously, the recent unpleasantness. Like, yeah, can we
Uh,
admit that Trump was funny? I'm like,
yeah,
yeah.
it was, and there's material now for like Space Force season 3, so I'm looking
Yeah,
forward to
yeah,
that.
yeah. Well, I mean,
Um,
that's again, that's a Gillis joke where he's like, they sent all these Republican nerds out just to get murdered by Donald Trump at the debates, and it was so funny. You got a dog wife, Ted. She looks like a dog.
he's a force of nature,
Yeah.
whether you like him or not. You can't deny that.
Oh, to me, he just distills what America actually is under its core.
He's actually, I've said many times, he's America in human form,
Yeah,
and they sometimes recoil, but they're really only seeing what they are.
yeah.
And I think maybe they need to have their eyes
It's a bit,
flipped open
it's a bit of
clockwork orange
yeah, yeah,
style
yeah, yeah, yeah.
and just have a look. This is what this is you.
Yeah.
This is actually you. This is honestly as a human.
Yeah, I'm just
As a human.
imagining Trump now with eyeliner sitting with his droogies. You
Yeah,
know, Elon would love that bit of eyeliner.
yeah.
Vance could supply it. You know. Anyway, it's
Anyway,
not a
so
politics podcast, it's a video game
remember
podcast.
doing games. So
Video game
anyway, I
podcast.
was remember way back about an hour ago we are talking about live service. Let's talk about Ubisoft because Ubisoft. And you touched on this earlier with the Tencent thing. Now, at the start of the year, they hired advisors to quote,
Mm,
extract the best value for stakeholders. What is it? That word
mm.
stakeholder interesting. They didn't say shareholders, but anyway,
Yeah, because I mean, Yves Guillemot owns it. They own the majority stake of it.
majority, yeah, because
Yeah.
Ubisoft is trying to partner more with Tencent. They said partner with Tencent, but partner more because they're already just under 10% owned by Tencent. Okay,
Hey,
so they're trying to partner.
10%. Yeah,
Trying,
it was right there, man.
so yeah, so we heard the numbers, man. I missed it. So Ubisoft trying to partner with Tencent. Now Tencent's like this because, like I said, America declared Tencent briefly as like a terrorist organization, being part of the CCP a little while ago, a couple of weeks ago.
Mm,
And then I think they took it off. But Tencent owns this. They fully own 6 developers or publishers, including Funcom, Riot Games, and Sumo Group.
yeah.
They're majority shareholders in 12 other developers and publishers.
Mm,
They own 35% of Epic, and that's Unreal Engine, isn't
yeah,
it?
it
Yeah, so
is.
they own 35% of pretty much every game.
Yeah,
So they're 16.25% of From Software,
yeah.
14% of Remedy, and basically 9.99% of Ubisoft, and that's going to increase. And there's a
Yeah,
potential that they'll own all of it.
and this is a kind of a three-pronged conversation. Number one, yeah, obviously, China being a problem, in the sense that,
Oh, problem in quotes. I don't think they're a
quote,
problem.
yeah,
They're
yeah,
just
yeah.
America
But you got to
don't
remember,
like them being uppity.
got to remember the flack, the Couch Warriors copped for having Esports World Cup, which was owned by the Saudis. At the same time, they're also running SNK games, and SNK is now 97% owned by the Saudis.
SNK coming to Evercade next year too.
Yeah, yeah,
Anyway,
yeah.
or this year. Anyway, yep.
So, but yeah, so it's you've just got to kind of pick your poison on what the thing is, and um, I think Tencent has enabled, like, Remedy would not have had Alan Wake 2 if it wasn't for the investment of thing. From Software, obviously From Software partnered with Bandai Namco for other stuff. They've partnered with Activision. Activision published Sekiro, funnily enough. Sekiro is an Activision
Yeah.
game. Um, so Tencent for them, I mean, that means Miyazaki gets to keep making his games and blah blah blah. And I mean, he's had some questionable content in there, so it's not like Tencent. I mean, we don't know behind the scenes, but from what I understand, it doesn't look like Tencent's pulling any cultural things.
They're right now though they're buying up a lot,
Yes,
and
and I and yeah,
they'll probably have Ubisoft soon
yeah.
because
So it's
I get the impression that the current owners, and I'm going to butcher his name, so I'm going to
Yves
say
Guillemot.
once out.
Yeah.
That's my
I,
impression.
I think Yves Guillemot because
They've stuffed up too much.
he stopped Vivendi, and so he did that on the bat of his own personal name, and just yeah, whatever they've done recently in the last 5 years, their reputation is in the toilet. Like people previously were like, yeah, their games are tedious and they're the same thing over and over again, but usually they're well made, usually whatever. But the last 5 years, the only good game they've made that really had, and it hasn't even had commercial success, it's only had critical success, was The Lost Crown, the Prince of Persia game.
Oh yeah,
Apparently, the Prince of Persia game was really good. And yeah, outside of that, it's just been.
they're
I mean,
holding
Assassin's Creed
they're
died on.
holding off on that.
Assassin's
Yeah.
Creed's an interesting one, right? Because like everyone was straight away onto the DI thing, and it's the Yasuke meme, right?
Yeah, but it's not DIA. See, I think that's where the debate gets silly, right?
Yeah.
Because I think the Japanese are quite within their rights to complain about how they're represented.
Yes, of course.
Um,
Yeah.
because hang on.
Well, yeah, it's
Yeah,
just
because it's their culture in their country, and they're the big difference between them and say us complaining is they're the indigenous people in their
yeah,
country, right? So it's like where they're like I think they've got not that they're perfect in any way,
mm,
but they've got a right to be able to say, hey, look, we don't like, and some Japanese politician took it
yes,
to their parliament,
yeah, yeah,
um, so we don't, and they, I don't know, he could be like the Pauline Hanson of Japan. I wouldn't have a clue who he is, right?
mm,
But they've got a right to complain,
yeah,
and they're allowed to. Because I think it's like when Egypt complained about how they said this show said that Cleopatra was black. Now it's not that you don't have to like or not like black people. It's like Egypt's allowed to say
yeah.
again the indigenous
Well,
people in the country.
Cleopatra was a Macedonian Greek, so like
But
if
they're allowed to say, hey, would you stop misrepresenting us?
yes,
I think that's entirely
if
fair.
you're so and this is where I would say it's a difference between representing yourself as fact and then do you know what Bridgerton is?
Yeah,
Bridgerton's
well,
like
my wife watches that show.
of course she does. That's all I didn't want to say, but like, it's like an alternate history,
She's probably watching it right now.
alternate history Victorian era,
Yeah.
like love show. It's like Pride and Prejudice or Sense and Sensibility, but
It looked like Pride and Prejudice to
right.
me when I
But
saw it.
like
Yeah.
so like the the Indian Raja has a presence there, so there's like the pretty Indian girl
Oh yeah.
and all this stuff that would not happen in the and then because the main lady writing it is the blonde girl from Dairy Girls, and Dairy Girls is phenomenal if you haven't seen it. Like if you especially if you've been Irish, you should watch it.
Okay.
It's really good. And so she's in that as well, and so that where it's obviously being its own alt history thing. I'm 100% fine with it. Tell like you want to have a bit of a fun or a tweak on it. That's fine. Just don't retell the same crap over and over again, and
Yeah.
you know chuck it in there for that. But like when you're representing yourself as not fact, but you're trying to stay factual or close,
They're
you
trying.
can't turn around and say no, she wasn't Macedonian Greek where she was clearly Macedonian Greek. Yeah,
The Yasko one, they're trying to claim that that's fact, so it's
yeah,
okay. But it's. I think there's also another aspect here for the Japanese where it smells like they've got this American,
yes,
and like clearly an American black guy,
yeah.
whether yeah
Well, he's
maybe not historically.
Portuguese. I'm pretty sure is
But,
the
definitely the music and everything
yeah, yeah,
is American black
yeah,
music
yeah,
when it does. Now they've got that problem with U.S. military bases
yeah,
where
yeah.
they've got a lot of troops there that are rapey as fuck, right?
U.S.
And
faucet.
I think it touches another nerve with them.
Mm.
But like I said, they're allowed to complain. I think
I
they
used to
should
know
be listened to.
I used to know a YouTuber. He's about my maybe a bit older now actually, and he grew up near one of the army bases, and that's what he said. Every Saturday, all we do is just get into fights with American
Yeah,
soldiers, and then the Americans would
because they've got a
come bail their people out. Everyone would sweep it under the rug, and then we do it again the next week. You know?
because they've got immunity. So I think it touches another nerve with them,
Yeah,
like a more contemporary nerve.
yeah,
But look, they're entitled to complain. I think they should be listened to, and I think because the way they did it does appear like I think I just said a few podcasts ago they they kept the Japanese girl, but they
yeah,
put in the Americanized black
Yeah,
male character. They didn't leave it as an Asian male lead
yeah,
character because I think there's like a lot of Americans are going to think that's like Chinese because they're pretty
yeah,
female,
yeah,
right? And at the moment, the political discourse won't allow that.
yeah,
Whereas a female character, a female Asian character is not seen as threatening.
yeah.
People might read that how they want,
Well,
but the male
this
character
is
is seen
that
as
this is
threatening.
that. There's been lots of studies on like the like kind of the American viewpoint of masculinity and how Asian men are seen as less masculine or less whatever. You know, we say
I know. Did you see the swimmers at the Olympics? They're
yeah.
pretty fucking jacked.
I mean, talk to the Aussie swimmers about the Chinese swimmers, man. Like, yeah, they hate them. But, I mean, that's always the funny part, right? For the size
Well,
of
they're off to the side taking
for the
meds.
size of the country and the amount of money we put into it, gee, I mean, they wonder why the Poms sent all our grandfathers to die like dogs in Turkey instead of sending lawyers from Leicester and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, well,
Considering how small our country is, we were third in the medal tally, third or fourth
yeah, yeah, yeah.
for a country of 25 million
They
people.
won't last long.
No, I think. Well, we'll see. I think. I mean, funnily enough, the
Oh,
one.
we'll be third, but as China develops,
Yes.
they're just going to lock up
I
first
mean,
place.
that's always my joke.
So,
Is like it's funny to see how some sports they dominate, and obviously you've got India with cricket. Cricket's become their game as much as it is the English and Australian game. But with soccer, like there's 1.6 billion people in India and 1.3 billion in China.
yeah.
And none of them can kick a soccer ball.
Yeah,
Like,
look, it'll come because you saw it with swimming. There was a
yeah,
backlash at the Olympics of swimming
yeah,
when everyone got upset about the Chinese. They must be taking drugs and that. You know what it
yeah,
was? It was because suddenly swimming is a white person's sport,
yeah,
and suddenly
yeah.
it wasn't white
I
people winning.
I say, I mean,
And that's why they got really
yeah,
upset and got really cut and accused them of cheating because suddenly there were non-whites
yeah.
beating whites in a what?
Cricket's a poor man's game. So yeah, was it cricket's a poor man's game played by rich kids, and rugby's a rich man's game played by thugs.
Well,
Like,
the swimming's a white person thing.
and because it's a wealthy white person. Same with the
Yeah,
tennis, right? Well, like yeah, like I mean, it's
they're not
always
like
these
Asians
things.
winning tennis either. There's
Yeah.
funny that, but anyway,
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, when Naomi Osaka won it, it was like, yeah,
yeah, it's
that
like
was.
yeah. So I think there's a lot of that going on. Anyway, video games.
Yeah. Look, whenever,
So you were gonna say?
yeah, yeah. The South Californian lens, it's gone from being far too woke to being, a little bit too Nazi.
Anyway, on topic of that, I think you'll be very sad to know that you can't play as Nude Venom anymore in Marvel Rivals.
Marvel Rivals is a good game.
Yeah,
Is your son playing? I assume he's on
he
it.
plays it a fair bit.
Yeah,
But yeah, no, the Nude Venom mod was the one they always chuckled about.
yeah.
The
Because
unofficial mods have
they
been
had like
banned.
Nude Squirrel Girl and all that kind of stuff, and
Yeah, they've
But yeah, Nude Venom. I mean, they just slapped a giant. He was already naked, basically, and they just slapped a giant dong on him. Like, yeah, because he's a fluidy kind of boy. It's just, yeah,
yeah,
it made sense.
why not? If I could do that to my character, I would.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You
So
fluid onto your avatar. Yeah, yeah,
our avatar. So you look. So Marvel Rivals. Now some the Rivals news, because they banned that because there was that fuss about the Trump
yeah,
mod being banned, but you can still play as Obama and that. No, I think they like. I think I said once before they missed an opportunity there because creators could have some fun, just like the presidents playing Minecraft, which I thought
yeah,
was
yeah.
hilarious. Now Marvel Rivals apparently will add one new hero every 45 days.
Yep. They added Reed Richards and Sue Storm the other day, so that's two.
I was curious.
Yeah.
I thought, oh, how long is that going to last? 45 days, been 1.5 months odd for every character. I mean, and then I looked up and there's over 7,000 superheroes in the Marvel universe.
And keep in mind, a lot of the ones that you just
7,000.
keep in mind,
You
like
can do
that.
the maths on that.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a lot of years of Marvel characters to be added.
Do you really need help doing the maths? It's pretty
Imagine,
easy.
imagine the character select
A
screen.
month is what, 30 days. There's 12 months in a year, and
Hmm?
you've got to like take half of them away because it's 45 days. So come on, it's
Yeah,
not that hard.
Wap-
90 days, 3 months, two,
yeah,
and
Wapner,
then
Wapner at 5.
oh my god, it's not that hard. I'm trying to help you.
Anyway, so basically it's going to be years. I already worked that out in my head. It's
Yeah,
going to be a long time.
and the thing is, it's not like they've blown. Like they have a lot of
So I can do that.
they got
Hang on.
Spider Man, they've got Captain America, they've got Wolverine, they've got these favorites and classics, but like they haven't expended every popular one that they could do. You know what I mean? Like there's still plenty of popular superheroes that they could put in there. Carnage, blah blah. blah. Oh, here he goes.
No, no, I'm working out in my head.
It's 80 a year.
I'm doing
It's
my
80 a
wait,
year.
I'm doing my head. How come there's two calculators on my phone?
Oh my
Um,
god.
okay, 150. It'll be 100. No, fuck if I know. Anyway, so anyway, I can't even do it on a calculator. It's a lot, lots and lots. Anyway, the
40,
other that
45, 90, 135, 180. Come on, man. It's not that fucking hard.
I'm old.
There's 360 days in the
This is
year.
elder abuse.
Divide. Oh my
This is the
God.
elder
I'm
abuse
trying to help. Oh,
podcast.
yeah, yeah.
So anyway, all right, now Rain Man here. Here's another one. So apparently, there's like over 50,000 characters they can use if you count one-offs, secondary heroes, villains, and mutants.
Yeah.
So Marvel Rivals has a big long life ahead of us.
Honestly, X-Men alone, you could have Jean Grey, Cyclops, Beast, Iceman. Well, they've got the Ice Girl, so they can't really do Iceman.
Goddamn
You could
nerd.
have Jubilee. You could have any of that. Deadpool's gonna fucking sell gangbusters when they put Deadpool in it. Like it's gonna be every game's gonna have a fucking Deadpool.
Yeah.
Like yeah, Juggernaut. You've got. I'm just thinking of X-Men. I haven't even gone outside of X-Men. Cable.
Deadpool Wolverine co-op would be fun.
Did you saw that movie, didn't you?
Yeah, yeah, it's
Yeah, it's
funny.
good.
It's funny as hell. It's funny. I see all the whinging about it afterwards. Oh my god.
Yeah, people are idiots. It's good. It was great.
People are idiots. Okay, now from Marvel Rivals. So Marvel Rivals has, I think they're doing good there. They've got a lot of words to work with. There's a lot of comic book characters.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
all weirdos. So, Dragon Age Valguard. All right, Dragon Age Valguard is the worst performing Dragon Age game so far.
I mean, unsurprising.
1.5 million players.
Yeah,
That's down 50% off the last game.
yeah.
I'll get to another number there that'll show
Didn't
that
didn't
in
didn't, didn't the
context.
director of that game specifically step down?
Yeah, look, oh man, that was an interesting one because if you're watching, okay, the director, yes, the game director left BioWare. That was one of those ones where you go, oh, I'm going to look up some information of it, and you just go, oh, there's just, I'm a big believer in horseshoe theory, right? And you just got fair income on each side, just extremist
Yeah.
nonsense about it, and
Well,
nobody can actually talk about it in a mature way.
yeah. I think you know
Because, by the way, the director was trans.
it becomes authoritarian, right? And so this is the thing. Like the left is known for their authoritarianism, but the right is more prone to it. Now it's easier for them
Yeah, but
to
it's either unconditional
yeah.
support or unconditional hate. And you know what? I'd rather just somebody mature
Well,
to talk about it.
I'm gonna say on my part it's unconditional hate because I've always thought Bioware is overrated. Bioware and Blizzard are to me have always
Oh,
been the
you
two most overrated
Dragon Age
developers
games
ever.
are overrated. They have a certain fan though. They have a real BioWare games have a certain fan
They have a
base.
playing with the dolls in the sandbox fan, and that's who they want. It's like, oh, but Prince Charming, my Prince Poodly Poo, he's gonna make he likes the girl now. So, but no, he doesn't now. Now he likes and like
Yeah,
these instead of having characters
they're
that have
immature. Yeah,
characters that have existing motivations that they're their own people. No, no, no. It's sandbox. I like these two smash. Like
yes, man.
and I hate it. I hate
Basically,
those kind of games.
you
I've
know,
always been that guy.
I agree.
Serve me a universe and let me exist in it.
I agree. They basically to me they all look like Dark Helmet playing with dolls when they play those games.
Correct, and so we compare it to say Fallout because people say Fallout the same.
I
Like,
hate you, but yet I find you strangely attractive.
yeah, Fallout's not the same.
Like,
Like there's romance options, but
yeah.
it's all pretty straightforward. Like Arcade Gannon is a gay bloke. Done. You can't romance every girl in the thing. Done. You know what I mean? Like if that was the one thing I give to Cyberpunk, it stuck to its guns. Judy was absolutely the waifu of that game, but I was playing a bloke,
I haven't
so
played that
I
game.
can't get together with Judy. Have you played it?
No, but Keanu Reeves is the waifu. I don't
Anyway,
care what the game is.
I mean, all right,
I haven't
Shadow.
played
All right, Shadow.
it.
Relax.
Shadow. Oh, they missed it. You haven't seen the movie yet,
No,
have you? Oh, okay. Because he went nuts because his childhood friend Maria, a girl, died. They really should
that's
have made
Gears of
that.
War.
They should really should have made that a puppy,
Uh,
right?
yeah.
They should lean into it.
Oh, you just
Um,
make an anthropomorphic dog.
okay, so the game director, the trans game director
Have you seen
left
Guardians of the
Bioware, and it
Galaxy?
was just a whole heap of bullshit.
Yeah,
Huh?
Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
Which one's that?
It'll rip your heart out. Don't watch it. I
Oh,
say
wait,
okay,
no,
go.
I think I have. They went into some organic
You
thing.
get Rocket's backstory and it's like how they.
Yeah, no, I did see that. Yeah, yeah, no, that was cute.
Well, I mean, until they all murdered him, but yeah.
Yeah, okay. Okay. There's also a rumor, by the way, that BioWare will shut down
Yes,
after
I
the
believe it.
shareholders vote.
I
He's done
100% believe it.
as like a punishment.
EA is making EA is making passable single player games, passable indie games. They're making more money than God with EAFC, which they have for years and years and years and years and years. And EAFC, as much as I don't like soccer, is a fun game to play. They stole everything from Pro Evo, rip Pro Evo, forever in our hearts, winning 11.
BioWare shutting down, though, would be a big deal.
Yeah,
That's one of the big boys that have
prestige
been around
names.
for a
Yeah,
while.
I
Big
agree.
boys, but big one's
Yeah,
been around for a while.
I agree.
I think that'd be a big one. Okay, now here's a number I saw that'll put this 1.5 million players for Dragon Age Valguard in
Mm.
context. Balatro sold 5 million copies,
Yes,
so you've got this.
I bought four of them. So I think there's 1 million
I'm
people
doing
own it.
my part.
1 million people own it, but they own 5 copies of
Okay,
it.
so there's 250,000 people
Pretty
own.
much. I have it on phone. I have it on phone. I have it on PlayStation 4.
It just wrecked my point.
I have it on Steam.
Here's a really intelligent point I'm
Yeah.
about to make.
But
Apparently, I'm an idiot.
how many people are buying Veilguard 4 times?
But you know what? I wouldn't die shocked if Bioware fans did.
Yeah, that's true.
No, I've never really liked their games.
Yeah.
Anyway, and they had the Mass Effect stuff and that, and yeah, like I said, the all Dark Helmet. So yeah, but Balatro sold 5 million copies, mostly to you. So,
Mm.
Pal World's 1 year old. It's
Yeah.
managed to survive. Nintendo hasn't committed infanticide yet.
Yeah, they made so you got to understand. I've been to their after parties and that kind of stuff.
Who's this?
Pal World, the
Pal
people that
World?
make Pal World
Seriously?
in TGS and
Oh,
stuff.
cool. Grab the
They
hashtag. What's going
have
on here?
a lot of money, is all I will say,
Pal World.
and they are doing. They're not even doing a Hearts and Minds tour. I think they're just having parties because they're having fun making video games. Because they cancelled
You
the,
serious?
the
This is the
game
one.
they
This
make.
is the one where you catch Pokeball
Yes,
things.
yeah, they make it. They got to make a load of money. They
You've been
must have
hanging out
sold.
with them.
They must have sold. No, not hanging out with them, but they must have sold a
Correct.
couple million. Yeah, there's the people you know.
Corrupt
Yeah,
journos.
so I mean,
Oh,
I didn't
god
abuse my
damn.
privilege to be there. It was just, yeah, they were like,
Oh.
hey, you want to come to this thing? I'm like, yeah, right, cool.
No, if you don't abuse your
My big
privilege, I
thing
want to
is
go to the Nintendo thing anyway.
my collusion. I take devs to um
You're allowed to say
Muscle
this?
Girl Bar. That's
Oh, I'm gonna take. Yeah.
I introduced him. Your boy's 18 now.
I'm spewing. I couldn't take
Yeah.
the boy there when we
When
went.
he's 20, he can go.
Yeah.
And then but yeah, I take devs to the Muscle Girl Bar. That's how I get them in. And then it's like, yeah, and then they're like, "Look, this is so good." Because I get non-Americans because Americans ruin it. I've taken a Canadian, taken a bunch of
Yep.
Aussies. For my birthday, I'm going there. It's gonna be a ruckus.
Okay. It'll be like Joel meeting Abby.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Alright, so Pal World's 1 year old. Now they announced the roadmap, so they obviously are loaded.
Yeah.
They've got a lot of money because they're bringing up co-op crossplay,
Oh,
which is cool.
perfect. Yep, great.
Yep.
Because that's one thing that's lacking at the moment is I'd like to be able to just play on my Xbox and jump on, say, Brandon's server and go from there.
So you'll be able to jump on Brandon soon.
Yeah.
Co-op crossplay, world transfers,
Yep.
new pals and new technologies. I know what that means. I don't play the game.
Yeah, yeah.
And collaborations with other games like Terraria has been named as one.
Nice.
So some collabs. Now that does mean they're doing okay, which is interesting considering Nintendo's just hovering above it. Clearly, Nintendo just wants a cut. They're just
Well,
give
wanted
us a cut.
they got him to take the Pokeballs out, and that was the big one. That was them just sniffing around and going, "How dare you?" And again, now they can't argue that people can misrepresent it. But yeah, Nintendo got their cut. They'll leave them alone enough for now, and then they'll come back in and swoop back in.
Well, they're doing okay. Lastly, the last thing I have, and we're at 52, might even get this under an hour. Let's see, Switch
Yeah.
2. Now, Switch 2, there has been some news about the backward compatibility. Now, we did talk about this with our
We weren't
special
sure what it
edition,
looked like. Yeah, yeah.
and you said it'll be the Labo stuff, and you were ding, 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 ding.
Yeah.
Wait, hang on, I'll do that. That's a bingo.
It'll be 1-2 Switch. It'll be Labo. It might be Ring Fit, but Ring Fit was such a big title for them. It'd be interesting
Well,
to
I
say.
can tell you the list.
Ah,
I have some news for you.
Honto.
Okay, so anyway, Labo VR. I'll go through that quickly because
Mm.
it's there's apparently modes about Mario Odyssey, Smash Bros, Breath of the Wild, and Captain Toad Treasure Tracker. The games will still work, but Labo VR modes that are in them won't. I didn't even know they were. But anyway, but this is the big one. Here are the games so far. The games so far that have been announced that will not work with your Switch 2. MarioWare.
What WarioWare?
WarioWare.
Which
Whatever
one?
it's called. Oh, no, what's that say? I wrote it down. What's that word?
WarioWare Mum?
I don't know. I wrote that down.
What the fuck? Should have typed it, bro. What the fuck is that?
It says something. One of the WarioWare.
Wow, I saw his writing. I said he can't be really writing this.
I can't read what I wrote. Okay, the other one, 1-2 Switch. I can read that.
Yes.
The Ring Fit Adventure.
Yes, Ring Fit. There it is.
It's getting late.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, brain training.
Yep.
Uh,
Oh yeah, okay. What real? Okay.
I don't know
A
why,
little
but
different. Yeah.
Game Builder Garage.
Yeah. Yep.
Obviously, Labo, and something called Night Vision. Now, the key is apparently this is the key. If the game requires original Joy Cons with an IR,
Yes.
that's
The
the
IR
thing.
sensor. That was.
So if there's an IR sensor,
So
it's
that's
not
why
going to
one
work.
two switch because it has the shaving.
And
Yes.
Labo's used as
Use
well.
the IR. Yep.
So yeah, so if you use an original Joy-Con with an IR, it will not work. But that's the one. So it's a WarioWare something or other.
Yeah. I
One two
think
switch, Ring
which
Fit
yeah,
Adventure,
I'm trying to
Brain
think which
Training, and some
WarioWare
other shit.
use the thing. I don't know. I think if the trade off is you don't have that, but you have that mouse functionality, suddenly Mario Maker 3 goes sales go through the roof, right? Like,
Yeah, well, yeah. So that's the games.
okay, yeah.
I'm still trying to work out that word. I wrote it.
Just I'll get a message about six in the morning. It's it's fuck yeah.
I wrote it. I actually literally wrote it here while you were getting ready.
Mm.
I went,
In the
oh, cool. I
dark,
found like,
apparently. In the dark, yeah.
yeah, yeah.
WarioWare, mom.
Where's something move? I don't know.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Move it?
yeah,
Is it
move
move?
it. That's it.
Oh,
Yay!
we
We
win.
cracked the
Okay,
case.
cool. All right, cool.
Well done, Watson. Yeah, yeah,
What do we get for that? All right, cool.
yeah.
So
What
that's
do we get for deciphering Dermie's handwriting?
right. All right, cool. So
But
there we
yeah,
go.
there you go. WarioWare, move it. There you go.
Cool. See,
Because it
that's
uses the IR sensor.
never in doubt.
I think that's the recent one, isn't
Yeah.
it?
So if you
It
use
was
the
the one that was like last year.
yeah, if you use the IR sensor or it's a Labo thing, it's not going to work on Switch. I
That
don't think it'll bother too
WarioWare
many.
Move It is the fun one. There's been some shitty WarioWare games on Switch.
Mm.
There's been lots of
I think EB was trying to throw that out for $5 the other day.
really.
They
It's a
might
good,
have
yeah.
got wind of that.
Get It Together sucks.
Yeah.
Move It is better.
Yeah. So anyway,
Yeah.
and Ring Fit Adventure is interesting because that's their fitness one. They always have a fitness product, so
Yeah.
which probably means they've got a new fitness one coming.
Yeah,
'Cause
yeah.
I've still got a
They'll
balance
they'll
board
they'll
sitting at home.
they'll have an updated thing for that. There's
Yeah.
just
So
no way.
Ring Fit Adventure.
Ain't no way they don't.
Ring Fit was weird anyway, but anyway. So all right,
Yeah, I mean,
cool.
just go for a walk. Like play your Switch as you walk or something.
No, you got no. Well, see, you got to have a fit ring. Although walking, I think
You gotta
does
have a
that.
fit ring, do you?
Yeah, the walking does give you a fit ring,
Yeah, yeah.
according to doctors. All right, cool.
Looks
Well,
like you're about to get executive ordered if you keep that talk up. Oh yeah.
what? Anyway, I'm done with news. Anything else you want to add?
No, we have a Gamer Girl glitch coming up on the 1st. If you're interested in Charlie XCX
What the
and
hell's that?
Chapel Roan and all that kind of stuff,
Hang on,
we've
I've
got
heard that.
yeah, you have a 20-year-old daughter. Yeah, so it's that kind of music. We'll be doing that. Then I am away from the 4th until maybe the 17th of March at this point.
I
I
have
hate
to
to
work out
say.
what to do while you're away.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll write it down and then
That's
it'll be like a
typically,
mystery.
yeah. I
I would
mean,
decipher it.
you could have rotating members of our crew. They would come down. I'll meet you somewhere for it, and
Hmm.
you can always. It's easy to set this up, and I can show you how to do it. You can do it on the other MacBook if you need to.
Yeah,
You've
cool.
got GarageBand. You just got to use USB-C port, which you'd have, so it's easy.
Yeah, I'll work it out. So
Yeah.
yeah, so we'll do something anyway.
And then we'll be doing a bit of content over there, but I am away for my birthday, so that will be that one.
No,
Jack is.
can I do a quick birthday thing?
You have.
Happy birthday to Oz yesterday.
Yes.
Don't know
I
what
was.
day you're listening
You
to this, but
you beat
yeah,
me to it. I was
sorry, I
literally
didn't
just
say
about to go on and say, speaking of birthday.
Oz. I'll always appreciate Oz. You give me a shot on Old Game Plus. It was good fun, and it would be nice to have like ABC's budget and not have to do work and have
Yeah, I
kids.
mean that
Like,
was always a joke,
we
right?
were both the old men with
Good,
kids when we
good,
were doing it.
good game had the third biggest budget in the ABC for
Yeah, it would have been
entertainment shows.
nice to have that.
And mine was fully backed by my wallet and whatever anyone else was willing to
Yeah,
contribute.
but no, it was good fun. Yeah, happy birthday, Oz. It was awesome fun doing Old Game Plus. I'll always appreciate it. So
And
thanks.
it's also my sister's birthday today as we record this. Happy birthday, GR. And then
Oh,
Bob, longtime friend of the show. It's also his birthday in 3 days.
and Luke,
Luke, yes,
big friend of the show.
big friend of the show. Hey?
Yeah, I don't mean that like that, Luke. Sorry,
Uh,
I mean, Luke has been a fan for a long time. He's always been
yes.
good. So happy birthday to Luke as
Yeah,
well.
he's the softest boy, the most friendly autist in the channel. So yeah,
Well,
that's not as an
you don't have
insult.
to add orders.
Well,
They all are.
hey, yeah, that's true. We're in the New Game Plus Discord, right? Like, yeah.
That's all. It's all.
How many minutes to Wapner?
It's a
12. The
very
answer is
neurodivergent
12.
crowd.
It is. It
But
is.
yeah, happy birthday, Oz and Luke and Jason's sister and I've forgotten Bob.
Bobo, yeah. You know Bobo, don't you?
Yeah, no, Bob.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
He's actually coming over to Japan for my birthday.
yeah. We enjoy. Yeah,
That should be good.
I'd love to be, but
Hey, you're welcome to pop over.
no, I spent like 30,000 on the last one.
Yeah,
If I do that again, my wife's not going to be
yeah,
happy.
yeah. I think yeah, and we're square for that too. So yeah, it's yeah, you paid up and out. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was a good break. I really desperately want to go back again. Actually, I'd love to go back
I'll be,
again.
yeah. Well, I mean, back to look at houses. So
Yeah,
like
no,
yeah,
I'd love to. Japan's wonderful. Please, all the bogans, stop going over
yeah. I mean, Rags
there.
keeps giving me crap. He calls it nerd bogan,
It's
nerd Bali now. He
yeah,
goes,
no, it's going to
it's
turn
going
into
to fucking nerd Bali.
it's going to turn into Bali,
Yeah.
Bali.
Well, I
Yeah.
remember when I was there. Yeah, it was with you guys actually. It was when we went up to Skytree, and there were those bogans, and they were drinking, they were sinking piss and hassling that Japanese bloke.
Mm.
So I went over their coach. He was like their rugby coach or whatever. I was like, mate, have a bit of fucking decorum, yeah. And he goes, you know, you're right, you're right. He pulled him up, and then they all walked away.
No,
I
I'm
walked,
surprised you didn't try and fight you.
and he goes, no, no,
Yeah.
you're right, yeah. And I walked over to the fucking Japanese. And I'm like, yeah, deja over there. And he's like, oh, I'm okay. I'm like, all right, yeah. I said, or Australia Jinyabane, yeah. Like it's in like Australians are a bit, ugh.
Oh, well, I knew as soon as I saw the alcohol prices in the quickie
Uh,
marts that
yeah.
as soon as the Australians got onto this
It's
place, it'd be wrecked.
pretty, yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, that's it's not. It's just at like 7-Eleven. I'm like, I feel like a family chickie into Jack Daniels. How much will it cost me? The sum total of $7 for two
Yeah.
family chickie and a 7% Jack Daniels. Holy
Yeah,
crap!
please, people. I know the people that do this aren't the ones that listen
Hmm.
to us, but please, people, don't turn into Bali. It's
Well,
supposed to be a wonderful
yeah,
place.
the Dota International dates got announced in September, so I will be hopefully in Germany for September,
Okay.
and then I have TGS, so I have to double up, and yeah, so it's gonna be
Yeah, I'm actually aiming to go to the Tokyo Game Show. That's my
yeah.
aim at the
Oh yeah,
moment.
yeah.
For
Just
Sega.
well, I mean, we can share a room again as long as you put up with my story.
Oh yeah,
I got the doctor visit, so maybe we'll fix it.
yeah. We get less pantsless man spreading would be good too, though. So
That's
if you just,
fine.
oh look at my heart
Yeah.
can't handle those shots.
I'm always wearing underpants. I don't walk around naked or anything. So yeah.
Yeah, there's only so many tears.
Uh, you have to relax. All right. On that note, we'll leave you there. NewGamePlus.tv, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, New Game Plus TV. Do keep an eye out for new episodes of the show.
And we're still recording.
We are. We are, unfortunately. They can just hear you crying in the background. And yeah, we'll have some new episodes coming up soon. And my New Year's resolution was to make more content this year. Do over an hour a thing, so the podcast covers me.
No,
But I want to go beyond that. So that hence the show. We'll do. I think we've got a 6 episode season, 8 episode season coming up.
no,
So
cool,
you should
Dilly.
enjoy that as well. And on that note, we will see you next time.